Welcome back to another Sunday prep day. Before I get into the menu, I do plan on doing a live stream again sometime soon. And if you want me to do that, leave me some questions or some things you want me to talk about during a live stream. Because I need to fill about an hour or something. So if you have anything you would like to know about me or anything else you want to know about, let me know. And also, I would love to hear some suggestions from you for what kind of food I should make, because I do make a lot of the same things all over again. So if you have any suggestions, if you ever want to see me make anything in particular, just let me know. I'm just going to keep on cutting some onions. That is for stock. While I go over my menu. So, today I'm going to cut vegetables, make tzatziki, and do some pork belly, and what else am I going to make? Some stock for some ramen. But yeah, menu this week. It's Sunday. On Sunday, I usually have sandwiches for lunch. Same this time, because I had to cut carbs, so I don't usually eat carbs for lunch, but on the weekend I do have my sandwiches. Then for dinner, I have some flatbreads, so I'm going to have those with some chicken that I'll marinate, probably in some yogurt, and I'll have some tzatziki with that, and some vegetables, and some pickled onions, which is one of the reasons I'm currently cutting up some red onions. And then on Monday, Meatless Monday, for lunch, I'm going to have something with hard-boiled eggs. I don't know if I'm going to do an egg salad or if I'm going to make like deviled eggs or something, but I did already hard-boil some eggs. So, and then for dinner, I'm going to have some more of those flatbreads because I'll have about half a pack left over after my dinner tonight. And I will have those with some falafel and some salad, some vegetables, probably the tzatziki sauce. One more red onion. But this one I'm going to cut fine for some coleslaw, because that will be lunch for Tuesday. Coleslaw with, what am I going to do? Probably some pork belly, because if I make some pork belly, I'm usually making a big batch, because otherwise it's not really worth the time. But I also have some chicken drumsticks and some chicken breasts. So I'll just have a look on the day. And then for dinner, Taco Tuesday, so I'm going to do some pork belly tacos. So I'll get the pork belly nice and crispy, and I'll serve that with some hard shell tacos with some coleslaw, some barbecue sauce. I still have some in the fridge. I was going to make some, but I figured I might as well use up what I have first. So there we go. Let's get that in a container ready for making some coleslaw in a bit. Then we're on Wednesday. For lunch, I'm going to do some cauliflower mash with some sausage. And then for dinner, I'm going to do some pork belly ramen. So the braising liquid from the pork belly, I'm going to use as a stock for my ramen there. And don't know what kind of noodles I'm going to do yet. I have some options. Meanwhile, I'm just cutting up some garlic. I'm going to cut up a little bit of garlic for my my flatbreads. And then I'm also going to do some whole cloves for the broth. So I'll just actually, before I forget, I'll keep a couple of those aside because those are going to go in the pressure cooker, so there's absolutely no need to cut them too fine because they're going to be basically falling apart. So I'll just cut a few more cloves. Maybe I'll throw some garlic in my cauliflower mash as well, and some other veggies. So I'll just cut a couple more. So we were on Wednesday, so Thursday, some coleslaw, probably with some sausage, because I'll have some of those left over, or I can do chicken drumsticks and just throw the sausages in the freezer, because I like having those on hand anyway. So, and then for dinner, I'm gonna do a grain bowl with some chicken, and for veg, I think I'm gonna do some long stem broccoli, and or I might do some peppers and some onions and some long stem broccoli, some garlic. So just a nice little stir fry. Yeah, I'm really into like bowls lately. The noodle bowl, rice bowl, grain bowl. I just like the presentation also. So just cut up this clove. And then I have one more clove, and I'm gonna grate that to use in my tzatziki. So this can go there. On Friday, I'm gonna have a bit more coleslaw, because again, I'm just making a bigger batch. I'm not gonna make coleslaw for like one meal. And I'll just have that with some salmon. And then for dinner, I bought some salmon in puff pastry. I'm gonna have that with maybe that long stem broccoli again, or if I use all of that the previous day, I'll do some regular broccoli. I always have plenty of veg in stock that I can use. Okay, so that's garlic done. And since I'm grating for the tzatziki, I might as well get this Persian cucumber and grate that in. And some people will just salt this and let this sit for a while so they can get all the liquid out. I actually like having the liquid in for a bit of extra flavor, and also just to thin it out a little bit, because I'm using like a quite thick Greek yogurt. But yeah, I'm just gonna grate that in. So yeah, I think that's the entire menu. Oh, I'm gonna, with the salmon and puff pastry, I also have some potatoes still that I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Am I gonna do potato wedges, or if I'm gonna do some hand-cut fries or something like that. I'll just decide on the day. Then I'm also gonna need some cucumbers, some slices for my flatbreads. So I'm just gonna cut those into little discs. And since I'm gonna use them 2 days in a row, so 2 meals, plus I really like cucumber, I'll just do 2 of these little Persian cucumbers. Make some light work out of those. What shall we do next? Some carrot. So 1 carrot I'm going to peel, and I'm going to use my julienne slicer to get it nice and fine for my coleslaw. I highly recommend getting these julienne slicers. So I'm going to do that straight into this container that also has my diced onions for the coleslaw. That should be enough. And then I'll get another carrot and I'll quickly peel that, and I'll use that for my stock. Actually, these are small, so I'll just do 2 of these carrots. And then just cut off the tips, cut off the ends. And because these are going to cook for a long time and all the solids are going to get strained out, I'm just giving them a rough chop. And throwing them in this bigger container where I'm going to get a bit more of my stock items. What's next? We'll do some celery, again just for the stock / braising liquid, and again just giving them a rough chop. And we'll throw that in with the carrots. Next up, for the grain bowl, for the stock, for my flatbreads, I'm going to cut up some chilies. So I just have 2 red, 2 green, leaving the seeds in because they're not super spicy and I do like a bit of spice, and if I'm honest, taking seeds out of chilies, unless they're like really spicy, just yeah, too much work for me. Let's just be honest. If you really don't like spice, by all means take them out, but a little spice in life is good. Then for my grain bowl and for my flatbreads, I also need some peppers. I'm just using these pointy ones. I think they're called Anaheim. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just really like these. So I just have this, well, it's half orange, half green. And I also have a red one. So I'm just going to cut that into little ribbons. And then I'll repeat that for this red one. And next up, let's do some cauliflower for the cauliflower mash. So just using up the last of this cauliflower here. I'm just gonna cut that into roughish chunks. Not too big because I want it to cook fast, but also since I'm gonna mash it, it doesn't need to be super fine either. So just gonna give these a quick cut. Then next up we'll have some cabbage. So I'm just gonna cut that into quarters. And cut the little core out. And I'll slice that nice and fine. And I'll just throw that in with the carrots and diced onions. And I'll work my way through the rest of this head of cabbage. Okay, next up, some lettuce for my my wraps or flatbreads. So I'm just gonna take a couple of these leaves off, and since I'm not using the whole stem, the whole head, I'm just gonna leave the stem intact and just take some leaves off the outside. There we go, and I'm just going to give these leaves a chop. And by leaving the rest of the lettuce on the stem intact, it will just last that much longer in the fridge. So they're ready to use next time I need some lettuce. Next up, I have a whole bunch of mushrooms. So I have these button mushrooms that I'm just going to quarter. These are going to go in my my stock. So bigger ones I'll quarter, the smaller ones I'll just cut in half. And I will just throw those in with the rest of my soup or stock ingredients. And I also have these shiitake mushrooms, so I'm just going to roughly chop these too. And then for my tzatziki, I also have some lime that I'm gonna juice, and it would be a waste to juice the lime and not use the zest. So I'm just gonna zest that in with the cucumber and the garlic clove, and then I'll just cut that in half and juice that in. And then lastly, I have some mango. I don't know if I'm going to use that in some yogurt or if I'm just going to snack on it, but I want to have that ready. So I'm just going to cut these cheeks off and score it one way. Turn it around, score the other way. And then I'm going to take a spoon and just scoop that right out. And then exactly the same for this other half. And I'll repeat that with this other mango. There we go. And this middle bit is always the trickiest bit, so I'm just gonna peel it and just have that as a snack. So yeah, I'm just gonna snack on this, clean up a bit, and then we'll start on the stock and the pork belly and the tzatziki and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna add a splash of oil to my Ninja Foodi. That was preheating while I was cleaning up a bit. And then I'll add my onions and a bit of salt. And let's crack in some pepper as well. And we'll let that soften a bit. I'll also add some chilies and my celery, carrots, and mushrooms. And just let that saute. And meanwhile, I'm just gonna prep my pork belly. So I'm gonna score the skin. So I'll cut one way and then I'll cut perpendicular to that. And now that my vegetables have softened a bit, I'm gonna take my pork belly, I'm gonna place it on top of the vegetables, skin side down. So as much of that fat as possible can render out. And then I'll add some water, enough to mostly submerge the meat. I'll put on my pressure lid, make sure the valve is closed. Set that to high pressure. And this isn't super thick, so I'll go with about 40 minutes. It should be really tender by then, so that can do its thing. Next up, we'll finish our tzatziki. So here I have some Greek yogurt. And just a reminder, I have some grated cucumber, some grated garlic, some lime juice, and some zest. And I'm gonna add some Greek yogurt to that. And then I'll add some dill. I'm just using dried. And some salt. You can also use mint. I'm just not the biggest fan of mint, so let's just give that a stir and have a little taste. And that's a nice tzatziki, so that can go in the fridge. In the meantime, let's just make the pickling liquid for the pickled onions. So here I have a mixture of rice vinegar and red wine vinegar, just because I had a little bit of both. You can use any, basically any kind of vinegar that you like. I'll add a little bit of sugar, and I'll just let that dissolve. And while that is doing its thing, I'm gonna finish my coleslaw. So we'll start with some salt, some pepper, and in this case I'm using pre-ground because I just want no chunks in there that you get from freshly ground pepper. A bit of mustard, and some mayo. And we will give that a bit of a stir and see if it needs any more mayo or seasoning or anything else. That tastes good to me, so I can just put that aside. I'll put that in the fridge as well. The vinegar and sugar have gone up to a simmer now, so all the sugar has dissolved, and I'm just going to pour that over my red onions. I said you can use any vinegar you want. I would not necessarily use red wine vinegar just because to get that really beautiful pink color, you just want the color from the onions and no color from the vinegar, but it's what I had. It's still going to be tasty and it's still going to look good, but maybe slightly less bright pink. So just going to let that cool down. The meat is just doing its thing, so I'm just going to wait until that's done, and then I'll be back to close out the video. And that's the pork belly done, so that can just cool down, and when I want to use that, I'll cut off a piece and I'll air fry that until the skin is nice and crispy, and then I'll slice that down further to put on my tacos or to go with my ramen and things like that. So, and I took the braising liquid and I just strained all the solids out so that can cool down and go in the fridge, and that will be the basis for my my ramen stock. So I'll add some, I don't know yet, maybe I'll do some soy sauce, or I'll do some miso paste, or I'll just decide what I feel like. I can go different ways because it's, you know, fairly neutral, a bit pork flavored, but not like really strong in other things. So yeah, that's it in prep for the week. So yeah, now I have everything ready to go to have lunch or dinner on the table in minutes. And if you like this kind of stuff, I do this every single Sunday. So leave a like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Until next time, bye for now.